Kia ora, team. So, here we are. We've come out of Tizzy. We've found a little place to get warm, um, get our stuff dry because some of our stuff was quite clearly wet. So we're getting that dry. Um, and we're going to think about Tizzy, right? Let's give that a ring before we put it down. I realized I didn't do that during one of my episodes, so all you people that were shouting at the screen saying, "Ring out your jacket! Ring out your jacket!" Yeah, I get it. So anyway, yeah, Tizzy. So what did we think? Yeah, look, I think it's the same as I've kind of said before with this stuff. It's the kind of the part of this game, and I would call it a good part. And I'll explain why in a minute. But the part of this game to do with loot, I think, is pretty good, because you can't. I was going to say can't. Maybe that's a bit strong, but the benefit that we have is that there's no one simple solution to loot, right? So it's more of a progressionary kind of a thing. I didn't really find a lot at Tizzy. I found that. I found a KA, is it a K or KS? KAS, and a jacket. And, you know, I picked up a helmet, and I picked up some ammunition, and I picked up some mags and things. But I didn't find anything that's like a game changer for me. I probably should have rung those out too, shouldn't I? Oh no, they seem to be pretty good. So, I mean, I guess it's incremental. That's the sort of thing that I'm saying, is that the gains are incremental. So I've got a Mosin, I've got a pistol that's silenced, I've got an assault rifle. I'm relatively kitted, barring for right now my pants. So I'm doing okay. This is still damp. I told you, pants, man. I mean, I know probably some of these things don't matter, but some of it does. So I think maybe it's the kind of thing that you do more than once. So maybe it's the kind of thing where, you know, this is why people camp things, because you want to do Tizzy a few times. You want to do Zelenogorsk a few times. You want to do a military base, whatever that is, whether it's what is it, MBVMC, which I've not done, you know, whether it's the Northwest Airfield, whether it's Kamensk, whether it's wherever it is, Asanovo. It's the kind of thing that you... Why are you doing that to me? It's the kind of thing that you want to do more than once, because that way you can then start picking up refining your needs. So refining the fact that you only want ammo for your Mosin, or that you only want a silencer for your Mosin if you come across it. You know, so you're playing the RNG game to say, here's what I'm kind of after, and this is how I'm going to look for it. Right? So I think, you know, in that way it's good, because then it means that what happens is you don't get OP players who turn up and, you know, they only go to one place and they get everything they want in one visit, and then they, you know, run around killing everybody else because they're like totally OP. So I kind of think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think maybe there's two bits maybe the tent bit at Tizzy at the bottom is arguably a bit better than the bit at the top. But there is a series of barracks which are not quite at the very northernmost tip, and there's some shipping containers, and that's all good. So I'd maybe say that that's the kind of thing which is pretty good, and that's the kind of thing that that you probably want to check out. Overall, I'd say I probably increased my situation more at Zelenogorsk, but I guess that's because when you arrive at Zelenogorsk, you still tend to be quite fresh. Whereas at Tizzy, I already had a lot of things. I was really looking for improvements, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is looking for improvements. Are they damp? They're wet. Let's drop them on the ground. So yeah, I'd say that's the situation, and that's Tizzy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here. I'm a little bit warmer. I'm drying out my clothes. I had a chicken that I cooked, and I'm going to have some food. I'm going to have some water. I'm going to dry out. Something's still showing as damp, but I'll sort that out in a minute. And we'll come back and we'll talk about objectives, I think, after this, once I've got my mind on things. So I'll just sort out my inventory and some stuff, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay. Kia ora again. So I've dried out. I've sorted out my gear. I've decided that there's a bunch of stuff that I don't want to keep. Just it's superfluous. Things like I've got a hatchet. I don't need 2 hatchets. Bones, hand grenades, other things that are just not the kind of things that I want right now. But that points out a couple of problems. One of those problems is storage space, right? Our stamina's slightly less than half. We've acquired lots of things which are kind of good to have, and we want to keep on to those. We want to keep hold of those. The second thing is, so we've achieved an objective, and the objective was to get to Tizzy, and we've done that, and it was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. But there you go. I had some preconceived notions. I thought we'd get lots of slick gear, and we didn't. So anyway, you live and learn. I make the mistake, so you don't have to. I would say don't go out of your way to go to Tizzy. I would say maybe go out of your way to go to Zelenogorsk or the Northwest Airfield to pick up something a little bit robust. But if you're going down a solo hunter kind of survivor mode, you can pick up a Mosin somewhere else, and you can pick up ammunition out in the wilds, out in houses and things anyway. So that's fine, and you can pick up everything you want without going near the military bases if you're doing that. I mean, I guess if people are going hardcore PvP, you want some armor, you want to get plate carriers, you want to do that kind of thing. Then yeah, by all means, go to NWF, get kit up, and then go run around trying to find people. But that's not what we're about right now. So anyway, so that's an objective, and possibly a secondary objective is that I said way back at the beginning, if you remember, that one of my key goals for the year was to be able to go from Freshie to kitted. That's reasonably well kitted. Within a few hours of gameplay, not weeks of gameplay. Now, I'm not sure I'd say we're there yet. I mean, I did meander around a bit, but I think it's taken me, I don't know, 12 hours worth of gameplay, maybe more, 14 hours worth of gameplay to get to where I am now with this particular incarnation. So I don't know how quick I would be to get to the same level again. And some people can say, I start out fresh and I'm fully kitted in 3 hours. It's like, well, bully for you. And if that's what you want to do, then hunky dory. I don't think I'm there yet. And as I've said before, there's probably a key to that in terms of knowing exactly where to go, um, and how to get there, which I'm still not 100% over, and I'm not I'm not desperately sure that that's the kind of game that I want to be involved in anyway. But I think we've achieved a key goal in getting to Tizzy, and I think we've learned a lot of things on the way, and we've learned a lot of things to do, and we've learned a lot of things to not do. Um, and I think that's been very helpful, and that's been very good. And I think one of the critical things that we've learned is getting these drugs and stuff. So, but anyway, so then entering the mid game, right? So I would say we're now kitted. We can go wherever we want. We can do whatever we want. We've got food. We've got water. We know how to get it. We know what to do with it. We know how to keep ourselves warm. We know what we need to do if we get sick. Ooh, maybe. But what's the mid game from here? Well, if this is going to be our home for a while, this server and this particular map, there are a couple of things that I think that we need to do next. One of those things is create a temporary stash somewhere. So I think, given that we haven't done any base building or any building of items or crafting or things, like ammo case boxes, those big wooden boxes, and so on, I think one of the first things we want to do is we want to tackle some of that. And the simplest thing to be first, I think, would be tackling a shelter. Pardon me. So I think we're going to find a little place out of the way, and we're going to build a little shelter, and we're going to see how that works with stashing stuff and how we go about building one of those, and so on and so forth. Because then the other thing is, we would like to put little stashes along the coast. So when we die, when we die, we have some stashes of critical, essential items in little boxes along the coast that we can find or dig up, or maybe they're shelters. I don't know. I think things that we dig up would be good, but then we need to rely on shovels and something to dig up the ground with, but they should be relatively easy to get hold of. Anyway, that kind of thing. So I think that is something that we need to consider. Now, I have been thinking about that, and I have thought it is an awful long way to the coast from here, and we need to make timber boxes and carry them, and they're big and potentially heavy and so on. And I was thinking, well, what's the best way to do that? And that led me to car. I've never done a car. I don't know how to do cars. I don't know what you're supposed to do to get cars. But I think that that's going to be a key thing for us to do. So I think the next stages of the game for us are going to be build a shelter and stash some gear. Find a car and see if we can do it up so we can drive it. And then we're going to drive with some gear to the coast, and we're going to start building some little stashes for ourselves, and along the way have a few adventures, see some things, who knows, travel by some things that we've not seen, who knows, lose the car, get shot. I mean, who knows what might happen, right? But I think that would be fun. So I think I'm going to call it for here for now, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to move to a different location. I'm going to find a little place where I think it would be kind of good to set up a little stash, and I'll call you back when I've set up the stash, and then we will go see if we can find a car, and have a think about that, and that will be our next adventure. Doesn't that sound fun? So stay tuned. We've still got all to do. It's not like this is over. This is, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it may just be the end of the beginning. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are. I'm sure we'll do lots of crazy things. We might start to change our game style a little bit. We might get a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more courageous. We might get a little bit more gun happy with the infected and try and take them out. And if we see players engage rather than run, get more helicopters, do more things. Yeah, it should be fun. Anyway, for right now, please like, subscribe. Really, really love to see more subscribers. I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of views on my videos, but I have still very few subscribers. I'd really love you to subscribe. It doesn't hurt you to do it, and it helps me immensely. And comment, even an emoji, whatever. Comments, they keep the channel active. They let me know that people are engaging and they're not just bored to tears with what I'm doing. So yeah, please, please, please do that. And I will call you back when we have found a place to set up our little shelter. Ta-ta for now.